Have you ever wondered why a place or situation that once felt overwhelming can eventually start to feel comfortable? How the same people, the same job, or the same challenges that once made you hesitate can eventually become almost second nature. Super Metroid, in its own way, portrays that exact transformation. You begin by wandering through a planet where danger seems to lurk in every room, and eventually you find yourself moving confidently through entire sections almost as if you were speedrunning them. But what makes that possible? One of the defining features of games from that era is how little they explain. We had beautiful printed manuals, it's true, and Super Metroid was no different. But let's not pretend most kids would sit down and read every page before playing. Inside the game itself, there are almost no instructions. Just Samus and an enormous, hostile planet. No complete map, no one telling her where to go. She is left entirely to her own devices. That absence of information is uncomfortable. For some people, it can even trigger anxiety. The game is not being unfair, it is using uncertainty to create vulnerability. At first, you don't know what the next room contains. You don't know which walls hide secrets, and until you take a risk, you may not even know whether a creature is harmless or aggressive. The map follows the same logic. Each room and each piece of information appears only after that place has been explored, and this is more than just a gameplay mechanic. It is a visual representation of your own understanding, and when that understanding can only expand through your initiative, there is only one way to get the answers. You have to move forward, but moving into the unknown requires the right response. When we face something we don't understand, two unhealthy responses may emerge. The first is fear, that ancient survival mechanism. Fear convinces us not to move at all. If we don't know what lies ahead, perhaps we should not go any further. The second response is recklessness, moving as though uncertainty does not exist, ignoring risks simply because we want to progress as quickly as possible, relying entirely on luck and hoping destiny will smile upon us. Super Metroid cheats neither. Instead, it cheats caution. Caution does not refuse to move. It simply refuses to pretend it already understands everything. You enter a room slowly. You observe. You feel out the environment. You pay attention to the enemy behavior. You conserve resources because you know you may need them later. You don't waste super missiles on every suspicious wall. You don't use power bombs without thinking. Not because experimentation is bad, but because good exploration thinks ahead. The game rewards observation, and that is quite a lesson for life. You have to act, but that action must be guided by humility, by accepting that the world probably knows something you don't, at least for now. As we have seen, every room you discover expands the map, and with it, your understanding of Zibs. In the beginning, every corridor feels isolated. Every elevator seems disconnected, but as you continue exploring, the pieces begin to fit together. You recognize shortcuts. You remember where your new upgrades can be used. Places that once looked like dead ends suddenly become new beginnings. The map does not simply become larger. With every new step, it becomes more meaningful, and that mirrors the way we learn in life, the way our minds gradually absorb and organize information. Knowledge rarely arrives all at once. It accumulates one page at a time, one discovery at a time, until one day, what once felt intimidating begins to feel natural. The world did not become simpler, you simply gain understanding as an ally. By the end of the game, you are still alert. You still respect its dangers. You still manage your ammunition. Caution never disappears, only its foundation changes. Your first steps were cautious because you knew almost nothing. By the end, you are still cautious, but now selectively. Your attention is directed toward what actually deserves respect. That is real confidence. Confidence is not believing that nothing can go wrong. It is knowing enough to make good decisions even when the odds are not in your favor. And that is why experienced players still move carefully sometimes. Not because they are afraid, but because they understand. Super Metroid never replaces caution with confidence. It transforms uninformed caution into informed caution. Eventually, all of us arrive somewhere that feels like Zebes. A new job, a new city, a difficult work project, perhaps a new relationship. None of them comes with a complete map. Waiting until every uncertainty disappears means never beginning. Pretending there are no risks is just as dangerous. The healthier path lies somewhere between those extremes. Observe, learn, adjust, and little by little, the unknown begins to shrink. All the complexity has not disappeared, but you were brave enough to begin understanding it, and that's precisely what the map in Super Metroid represents. It isn't just a record of where you have been, it is a record of what no longer intimidates you. Every rune added to that map is one less piece of uncertainty, one more piece of comprehension. Learning anything meaningful works the same way. We don't receive complete maps before our journeys begin. We draw them ourselves, one careful step at a time. What was the last thing that intimidated you at first, but is now just another part of your day? Let me know. If you like this, please hit the like button. If you want more, check my other videos and subscribe. There's new content every Wednesday. I'm Charles, and I truly appreciate your time.